lipids into fuel sources because it may need them somewhere down the road, and it's just going to go ahead and hold on to them. Okay? Don't worry about the body mass index. To me, I think it's a terrible explanation of what the body mass should look like. Let's talk about malnutrition, though. And here are a couple of key terms. Undernutrition basically means we're not getting enough essential nutrients. Overnutrition is the excess of those nutrients. Malnutrition, it's not that you're not getting nutrient, you're not getting the right types. Okay? Secondary malnutrition is because the nutrients cannot be absorbed. The condition of the intestinal system does not allow for the absorption of the material through that ileum and jejunum. Starvation. There are a couple of different types. Now, again, you can survive 50 to 70 days without food. You can survive a week without seeing, you can survive 3 days without food without seeing any changes in the body systems because you have that much built up. However, over a period of time, you will find that conditions begin to present themselves as those body systems begin to shut down. Marasmus is a lack of all nutrients. Now, you may find that that occurs with individuals who are unable to properly absorb up nutrients through the intestinal system, as opposed to something like kwashiorkor, where protein just might not be available. Anorexia nervosa is an eating disorder in which they choose not to ingest material or nutrient because it's a way for them to control the environment around them. Anorexia nervosa is a neurological condition. There are other types of anorexia that may not be neurological in nature and may be secondary to some other kind of treatment that your patient is having. Cancer patients often go through large bouts of anorexia because nothing tastes good to them. Chemo is made of a metal-based component in which it's basically just poisoning all the cells in your body. And so as it begins to infiltrate all sections of the body, it will infiltrate their tongue and their brain. And it tastes like they're eating metal, and so they don't want anything to do with it. The number of hydrogen ions that are being released from that chemo-based material. Okay? Bulimia, also an eating disorder in which they will actually eat, but then calculate out or visually estimate numbers of calories and what that's going to do to their internal system, and so they'll just purge it all back out. Okay. BMI and BMR and lifespan changes. BMR, or the rate at which you are burning fuels, peaks in childhood and then begins to decline throughout adulthood. And as you get older and older and older, it will continue to decline and decline and decline. Okay, so you'll find that our older individuals really don't have a lot of interest in eating. And they'll just tell you, I'm not really hungry, because they don't need nearly as much fuel as they used to. And you'll get to the point where your patient will be comfortable just eating once a day. And that's okay as long as they're getting the right types of nutrients. This is what's called that new food pyramid. Again, they change this about every 7 to 8 years. This is what it used to look like. Now it looks like this. Balance in all things, okay? Being able to find the nutrients that you need and to be able to balance them out is key in this journey. And you will find that your system really accepts certain types of things and is very happy with certain types of food. In other cases, not as happy with other types of food that you would think that it would be readily available and be very nutritious for you. Okay, a lot of it has to do with the chemical that's found in that particular food-based product. For example, we have what are called nightshade vegetables that contain a lot of phosphorus. And for individuals who have inflammatory process disorders, it is highly invasive to them. So the nightshades, the tomatoes, the peppers, the eggplant, will cause a huge amount of inflammation for somebody who has an underlying inflammatory condition. You'll also find that there are things like broccoli and cauliflower that contain large amounts of sulfur, large amounts of sulfur, as well as onions. That's why you get that smell. And their body just isn't accepting of the sulfur that's there. Okay? So a lot of this is an experiment to find out what works for you, what works for your patient. Again, with the food pyramid. And again, that's the end of the metabolism chapter. Read through the chapter. This is one of the shorter ones because we'll talk more at length about a lot of the discussion from today in chapter number 25, which is the acid-base balance and the electrolyte conversation.